Chitwan National Park, Nepal. 3 men on an elephant. One of them is a wildlife artist, Wolfgang Weber. Since early times, people have painted animals. It seems to have been a way for us to seize the essence of wild creatures for posterity. Wolfgang captures this essence of an animal with a few swift pencil strokes. His love of nature has drawn him to the Earth's wilderness areas for inspiration. On his travels, he has met many people driven by the same ambition. One was wildlife filmmaker Dieter Plage, who has made over 60 natural history films for survival. Before long, an idea was born. It seemed like a great idea to look at nature through the eyes of an artist, observed by a cameraman. Both Wolfgang and Dieter were known for the extraordinary lengths they will go to get close to their subject. In Texas, wearing protective masks, they both roped 150 feet down into a bat cave to film and to sketch the most secret world of bats. This is one of the many experiences they shared whilst making this film. Back in his studios, sketches rekindle his memory of the scene, and against a background of the classical music which inspires him, he creates his own unique watercolor impressions.
I love it to listen to music when I'm sitting in my studio. It inspires my work and my imagination, and it's much more fun to do.
The oceans hold an almost hypnotic fascination for him. He loves the movement of the sea, its many moods. Its size and power makes everything else seem insignificant. Wolfgang travels light wherever he goes. A pen and paper is all he needs, unlike the heavily laden cameraman. He follows his subjects wherever they are to observe them in their natural environment. Wolfgang has watched the albatross skim great waves and cross the vast southern oceans. He has visited every continent except Antarctica, and traveled in many different ways, from the orthodox to the bizarre. The scratches made by suckerfish on the dolphins illustrate his acute power of observation. Wolfgang has evolved a distinctive style which is free from the constraints of realism, but he believes it is necessary to learn the skills of painting realistically. Many of his own illustrations have been used in encyclopedias and natural history books, where precise detail is essential. However, in his paintings, he has the freedom to create his own impressions of his subjects. One journey took him to the Galapagos Islands. This is the world of the Galapago, or giant tortoise. The 400-pound heavyweights lumber around at the same leisurely pace that they have moved all their lives, which may be as long as 250 years. Here, Wolfgang's speed with a pencil is not put to the test. The Galapagos Islands belong to Ecuador and lie 600 miles west of the South American mainland. It was here Charles Darwin found vital evidence for his theory of evolution, the basis of his book, The Origin of Species. The dramatic rock formations of the islands were formed through volcanic activity on the seabed, pushing gradually up through the surface to be scarred and worn by the winds of time. At the blowhole on Española Island, the sea is forced through a deep crevice in the cliff face and explodes in a furious spray. Few beaches offer an artist this kind of opportunity, to lie on the sand and sketch sea lion pups at arm's length. Everything arouses their curiosity. Like most Galapagos creatures, they have no fear of man. They are naturally inquisitive, and more gather to investigate this strange creature in their midst. A big bull sea lion, the beach master, is mostly concerned about his females and comes up the beach to inspect his resting harem. Having satisfied himself that Wolfgang poses no threat, he heads back to the water. He gives a rather amusing exit performance, like a chicken drumstick being coated in breadcrumbs. Effortlessly, he glides into his true element. Each of Wolfgang's paintings reflects his personal experience on location. Just offshore, he's lucky to see a marine iguana feeding on seaweed, a prehistoric-looking creature which arrived here many thousands of years ago from the South American mainland and has adapted to this harsh environment. Using his pencil drawing for reference and inspired by the music of Beethoven, Wolfgang creates a painting in watercolors, shown here in speeded up action. Here on the island of Fernandina, the marine iguanas and cormorants live close together, sharing the same beach. This young bird seems extremely interested in Wolfgang's sketch of a cormorant on her nest nearby. On these remote and rugged islands, there's an air of tranquility where time seems to stand still. On the rocky cliffs of Espanola, Wolfgang finds one of his favorite birds, the albatross. This is the Galapagos waved albatross. Its only breeding ground is here. The strange sideways nodding is part of one of the most elaborate courtship rituals in the animal world. Swift sketches capture all the elements of motion. Albatrosses take 9 months to raise their single chick. Then they head out over the southern oceans. They do not return for months, spending most of the time on the wing. Another takeoff, a long, lumbering run, not unlike a jumbo jet heading for the sky. And for Wolfgang too, the time has come to leave this special place and fly to new horizons. Wolfgang's memory of events is very strong, but his sketchbooks are the key to all his work. This one reminds him of a recent visit to North America. Here he experienced the wide open spaces of Alaska, a land with its own aura of mystery, with the knowledge that you're in one of the last unspoiled wilderness areas on Earth. This is the cold and windswept world of the Alaskan brown bear, and one of the most rewarding experiences is to see a female with cubs. Like most young animals, they play fight and tussle, constantly on the move. At moments like this, his pencil is never still. The female has come to catch fish. The salmon run has started. Every year, the bears gather from miles around to join the feast. Apart from berries, it's one of their major food sources at the end of summer, their last chance to store up fat for the long winter hibernation. The bears can see underwater and grab any fish which comes within reach. A large salmon means nourishment for hungry cubs. Wolfgang walks further up the river, where another bear is also hunting for food. His experience of animal behavior, acquired over many years, gives him the confidence to stand his ground. And also the knowledge when to retreat. Again, Wolfgang moves upstream. A quick glance reveals bears fishing. During the annual salmon run, the fish swim upriver to spawn and die. Male bears will not accept other males near them when they are fishing. When another bear arrives, this bear knows he has to move on. The intruder is obviously a higher-ranking male, and so he slowly withdraws rather than risk a confrontation. The newcomer takes up the best position. Sapped of their strength, many fish are easy prey. Wolfgang's painting recaptures the drama. Colorado in autumn is a feast for the eyes. The old western train of the Durango-Silverton Railroad winds its way along the narrow pass above the wild waters of the Animas River. Wolfgang admires the adventurous life of the cowboys and their closeness to nature. He joins them as they drive their cattle down the mountain, bringing them to lower pastures where they will spend the coming winter. One man spots a cow which has suffered a painful encounter with a porcupine.
Get on her head. Get back. One of you might get her front leg and just bend her legs back.
The quills have broken off and lodged in its nose and mouth, making it almost impossible for the animal to feed.
Got her now, ain't you? Kind of hard to heal them when they're standing still.
Without this prompt attention, it might have died an agonizing death.
Got to get them to bouncing away from you.
Is the coffee hot, Dave?
With the cowboys, Wolfgang enjoys the friendly warmth of a campfire and barbecue at the end of a long, hard day.
Steaks, Dave. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be just right. We like some rare. How do you like your steak? Medium. One thing about a campfire, you're always hot on the front side, freezing to death on the back side.
Winter follows swiftly on the heels of autumn in the Rockies. He finds his first subject in a red fox searching for food. Wolfgang switches to snowshoes to cross the deep snowfields. There's something dark moving in the snow. It's a young mountain lion. In fact, there are a pair of cubs. Ignoring the bitter cold, Wolfgang gets out his sketchbook. The cubs join their mother. They seem oblivious to the winter cold, a thick coat of fur right down to the tip of their tail, protects the cubs from the sub-zero temperatures. Concealed from view, Wolfgang works as fast as his freezing fingers will allow. Movement attracts the cub's attention. The female begins to stalk. She has 3 mouths to feed and cannot pass up the opportunity of a kill. The light snowshoe hare bounds across the snowfield, but the heavier mountain lion sinks into the snow, which slows her down. Wolfgang likes to capture dynamic motion, the energy and tension, the explosion of action. One of the cubs tries to join the chase, and the little hare escapes. Sliding down into the bowels of the earth, the cavern seems to swallow the tiny figure descending on a rope out of the sun and into the darkness 150 feet below, entering the secretive world of bats. In caves like this, where the air is hot and moist, 20 to 30 million Mexican free-tailed bats live, clinging to the walls and roof in total darkness. Wolfgang cannot breathe in here without a mask, and as he sketches, droppings shower down from the bats above him. The heat generated by all these tiny bodies is almost overwhelming. By sunset, the incredible swirling exodus begins. Those bats which emerge first, while it's still light, must run the gauntlet of hawks and falcons. It takes hours for all the bats to emerge and spread out over the surrounding countryside, catching up to 250 tons of insects during the night. In the sun's dying light, red-tailed hawks snatch a meal before heading for their night roost. By destroying whole colonies of bats and their habitat, man does far more harm than birds of prey can. Wolfgang hopes that by painting bats and their natural predators, we will become increasingly aware of their tremendous importance and begin to look upon them, if not with affection, then at least with respect and understanding. the light fades and the rest of the bats will leave their cave in darkness, long into the night. Karnali Badia National Park in western Nepal. The fiery sunrise belies the chill of a January morning as Wolfgang departs on elephant back from Tiger Top's Karnali Lodge with the team of trackers. The riverbed is a good place to look for tracks and find the great one-horned rhinoceros. This is the best time to go looking for animals. It's still cool and the air is filled with the mysterious sounds of the jungle. There's an old saying that if a man looks for a tiger, the tiger sees the man 100 times for each time the man sees him. As the elephants came closer, the tiger disappeared into the long grass. Their plan was to take Wolfgang to the river bank, where the trackers had found fresh tiger tracks the night before. He walks the last few hundred yards alone. The ever-watchful langur monkeys sounded the alarm. They could hear the tigers were very close, but to see them was another matter. Wolfgang hoped he might be lucky enough to catch a glimpse of one. Suddenly, close by, the tigers roared. The tiger is the super predator, the biggest of the big cats. This male was in peak condition. It was the moment Wolfgang had been waiting for. The tiger reappeared, searching for the female, and perhaps uneasy because the elephants were still in the area. Early morning, when it's cool, is the ideal time to watch big cats. As the day gets hotter, the tigers rest in the shade. Wolfgang and the men were going to do likewise. He was elated. He'd achieved his goal and had seen a tiger in the heart of the jungle. Little did he know what the afternoon would bring.
Just crossing the road, and we got it on the road only.
Content and exhausted, he fell asleep, his diary unfinished, his sketches incomplete.
This was a particular exciting moment in Nepal. We are riding in the dense green forest, and we found two tigers, a male and a female. First I saw only the eyes and the upper part of the head, looking through the green bushes of the dense forest, and suddenly he came out with a huge leap and going for my elephant, and my elephant went for him as well, and it was like an explosion in front of my elephant, and only about 3 yards in front of me. Incredible. And the sound, it was so, you can't describe it, you must hear it. I was excited and I was happy to have an experience like that. I didn't feel any fear. It was funny. I never had the feeling that he would attack or hurt the elephant or me, or the elephant, the mahout. But he just wanted to show us, don't go further on, don't go closer, and about 30 seconds afterwards I had my first sketch of the attacking tiger already. Fantastic experience for an animal painter if he goes for days and days and looking for tigers, and they are very, very difficult to discover and to find in the wild, and therefore I was very happy to have an experience like that.
Wolfgang's paintings are his way to show people the magic of nature and to express with a brush his feelings about the world's increasingly fragile wild places and their fascinating diversity of life.